Welcome to Juice Break, your pause for real conversations that move you, fuel you, and feel good. Today's guest is someone I've been building SEEQ with since day one, my business partner and co-founder, Ben Zaver. He's the definition of 1% better every day, constantly learning, experimenting, and pushing towards what's possible in business, in movement, and in life. In this episode, we go behind the juice to talk about what it really takes to build something from scratch, the mindset that's helped him stay grounded, and all the ways he's explored wellness. This one's personal, reflective, and full of juicy takeaways for anyone chasing a big dream or simply seeking their next step forward. Let's dive in. Okay, I'm excited.
This feels like an iconic moment.
This is an iconic moment. Are you kidding? First episode, and I'm honored to bring my co-founder, business partner.
I'm freaking honored to be here.
As my first episode, Ben Zaver. Thanks for coming.
Of course. Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be the first guest.
Yeah, no, this is fun to see this come to life. Yeah, so when I was doing research on you, it was just fun to just kind of take a journey back into your life and where everything started. And yeah, like when you look back, you know, former soccer player turned mechanical engineer turned entrepreneur. Did you ever expect your life to turn out this way and be in this moment right now?
No, I feel like my life has been a journey of just slowly figuring out what I want to do. I didn't realize I wanted to be an entrepreneur until like my junior year of college. When I reached out to do that marketing agency and start learning marketing, that's when I met you. But like, yeah, before then, I wasn't the entrepreneur that grew up like doing lemonade stands, or I wasn't like reselling sneakers. Like I didn't even realize I had kind of the skills or passion to be an entrepreneur until later in college.
What was the like initial spark then for you that you're like, I do want to maybe start a business, and like how you dove into social media agency as kind of your first thing?
Yeah.
Like what was that initial like, oh, I could do that?
You remember those YouTube ads back in the day from Ty Lopez where it was like here in my garage, he had like the Lamborghini and stuff, and he was essentially selling like social media marketing courses. I remember watching that and begging my dad to buy us $1,000 course, and he like would not let me buy it. And it was this course on how to start a social media marketing company. And I was like, well, this dude's like a little bit older than me. I feel like I get social media better than him. And it was the first time where I was like, oh, like I feel like I can start a business. And so when my dad said I couldn't buy that course, I was like, okay, I'm going to try to find a local marketing agency and try to learn some stuff. And so looked up a marketing agency, happened to be the one that you were working at actually. And I remember I filmed this video basically to their CEO at the time, like saying why I should be an intern there, like why you should have hired me. I filmed the video, posted on LinkedIn, and like tagged the CEO, and basically the next day he hired me. So that's where I met Hannah. Hannah was pretty kind of like in a way my boss at that marketing agency, and that's where I kind of got started in marketing and kind of got my spark for wanting to start a business. I never started a social media marketing business, but I feel like I took some of those skills like content, making websites, writing captions, like all that kind of stuff. And then we can get into some of the stuff I tried to start before SEEQ, but that was like my first, I feel like, step into something outside of engineering.
Yeah. No, I love your journey because it just shows your willingness to take something that you maybe don't know and figure it out, which goes into like one of our core values that we've really cemented in SEEQ, which is there's always a way, and being 1% better and always challenging yourself to learn more. And I feel like you just are a great example of, having this goal and being curious to it and figuring out a way to do it, whether that's social media agency, whether that's content, whether that's building a site, whether that's, you know, in those early days of building SEEQ, like projections and operations and talking to our manufacturer and like all of those little things that I think you would probably agree that that's just a trait that like entrepreneurs have to have. For is sure. being open to not knowing all the answers, but like kind of walking the walk before you can talk the talk.
100%. One other thing I would say is just like, I think a thing we've done really well in the business as well is just doing stuff different. Like I don't think I would have got that marketing internship if I would have just applied online, or if I would have like DM'd him and been like, hey, give me a job. I like literally posted a video and posted it on LinkedIn for everyone to see and tagged him. I think that's the only reason I got that. And I think we've done that in ways throughout SEEQ that like, I think that's one of the reasons why we're successful is we just do stuff different. We do stuff that hasn't been done before. We do innovative things. Like that's a really important trait to have, I would say as well.
For sure. For sure. No, I love that you said that. I'm curious now that we're talking about SEEQ a little bit more, like for you then shifting out of the social media agency, wanting to be an entrepreneur, applying that skill set to this business, like when was that aha moment for you with Clear Protein and like why protein? What was the environment that sparked Clear Protein as the thing?
I definitely went through a phase in college where I was like first getting into the gym. Like I feel like freshman year in college, people usually have that like inspiration to start going to the gym, working out and all that stuff. And so that was probably the first time when I got into that, taking supplements, taking protein, all that kind of stuff. Before SEEQ, I was kind of going through this phase. This was right when COVID hit and I couldn't get an engineering job. Actually, quick story on that. I was actually in Arizona. You know this whole story.
Yeah, but no, share it with the audience. They want to hear. Yeah. They want to know.
I was in Arizona for an engineering internship, or not an internship, an actual job. It was a 3-day hiring process, and I was basically on day 2, and they were about to hire me, and then they were like, "Hey, there's this thing called COVID. We don't know like what it is, but like we're gonna pause hiring." And so basically, I couldn't get an engineering job. COVID hit. I moved back home, and I was like, "Well, I can't get a job, so I guess I'm gonna have to start a business." And this was a year after learning all this stuff from the marketing agency. And I kind of went through this phase of like drop shipping. I feel like every entrepreneur kind of goes like, it's like a rite of passage to go through your drop shipping phase.
So true.
So I probably had like 6 months where I started trying to sell baby clothes. Me and my buddy started this thing called COVID Hair Care, where we tried to sell like clippers and razors for at-home haircuts. And after like 6 months, I was like, dude, like I got to the point where I would, create the website, like get everything ready to go, get the product, get all the product shots, all that stuff. And like right when we were about to launch, I was like, dude, this just doesn't feel right. Like I'm not excited about baby products or COVID hair care or like anything like that. And so I just never launched them. And after 6 months of doing that, I was like, dude, I want to start a brand that I actually like want to tell my friends and family about, that I actually like think is cool. And randomly one of my friends posted on her story about Clear Protein. Shout out Jackie. She's the one that put me on to Clear Protein. She posted this story and I was like, holy, like this is an absolutely genius idea. I have no clue why people haven't been doing Clear Protein. Do some research on it. It's been around for like 20 years. It was blowing up in Europe. And I was already, like you said, I grew up playing soccer. I grew up playing sports. I had that stint of going hard in the gym, taking supplements and all that stuff. And I was like, wow, like this is an absolutely genius product. I get samples for the first time, and that's when I brought the samples to the marketing agency where you were working at. And how this was a long time ago, so like this is how I remember it, was I brought these samples in, and for the most part, like you were the only one that was interested. Like I feel like you came up, you were super interested, you were like, I worked at a nutrition store, and you were super excited about it. And then you asked me to work on it with me, and I was like, yeah, sure, I don't see why not. And so that's when then we started working on it. So
yeah. Yeah, what a story. I remember for the first time, which I feel like everyone has this moment with Clear Protein, but being so close to the industry and not ever hearing about it, like it was just such a, what? This exists? Like yeah. I hate thick and milky protein. Like, and I was very hungry at the time to apply the skills and knowledge that I had learned about marketing into being an entrepreneur and owning my own business where, yeah, you mentioned drop shipping. It's like, you already know all the stories behind the random stuff that I've done. So when it was this idea presented to me and it was aligned with what I'm already doing, it was a solution to something I didn't even know I had a problem with. I was like, dude, let me just even be a soundboard for you and your ideas. So it's just so cool to look back at that moment because I can replay it like it was yesterday of you coming in the butterfly office and giving me this protein. And I'm like genuinely like wide-eyed like a kid in a candy store. Like, what?
It's crazy looking back how significant that moment was. Like we've been working with each other now for like 5+ years.
Truly.
So it's crazy.
Yeah. I always think about the butterfly effect of like the what ifs that one time didn't happen or you weren't an intern at the agency or I wasn't there for whatever reason because I was working like partial remote too, where it's like there's just so many what ifs on SEEQ ever even being born.
Yep.
And having this conversation right now that we're having, which is just a funny thing to think about. When you think of like those early days, I'm curious from your perspective, like what do you think is something that people don't realize about just how hard it is to get something off the ground for the first time?
I think now, working on a business for 5 years, I think some people will truly never understand like what all goes into it. It makes you like evolve as a person because there's so many random things you have to learn and just like grow personally that like I don't think people will ever, unless you've built a brand, will never realize how crazy and challenging and uncomfortable it is to run a brand like this. So I think when I think of my biggest challenge, I feel like some of the business stuff has come fairly natural. For me, the challenge has more been growing personally and kind of like that mental battle. Like to be able to grow as a leader in a growing business is really, really hard, especially when it's your first business. So I feel like even with yourself, I feel like some of the business and marketing came fairly natural. We've learned a lot of things along the way, but like the personal growth that you have to go through to like be a leader in like an innovative emerging company is like no joke.
Yeah.
Like that's been the biggest challenge for me, at least by far.
Yeah. How are you like teaching yourself things or growing personally to help, grow, like you said, personally and develop those personal skills? Is there anything that you're doing that has helped you grow with the business?
Definitely. It was like during SEEQ was the first time I've done therapy. I kind of like have like a therapist / like a business coach that like has turned more into helping me with personal stuff versus business stuff. So that's definitely helped, like just talking through all these problems. And then one other thing I've been doing is me and my buddy Timmy, we call it truth work. And it's basically just, if I had to describe it, it's like in every single day, just showing up and trying to be your true self. And that's really hard. It's like an example would be, if I don't agree with your opinion, like I need to voice that, or else it's like this thing inside that like slowly builds up and it builds this tension and anxiety where like when you truly like embody your true self and like do this truth work, like that's when you start feeling like my term for the year, magnetic. That's when you start really feeling like magnetic. And like I've been trying, it's really hard as the business grows because there's so many uncomfortable situations we've never been in before. So like I don't feel like I'm even close to mastering that, but I feel like slowly I've been like peeling back all these like insecurities I've had my whole life basically. And so like the business has forced me to do that, which has been cool.
I love that. Yeah. That's a really vulnerable share. I'm curious, just being in that fast-paced environment that we are in and not only having this tension, like you said, of growing the business, but also growing personally, what are some ways that you like, whether it's tools, whether it's activities or movements that just like help you feel grounded in everything and like humbled in what we're building?
Yeah. I would say that's still a challenge for me. The few things I do, it's just doing small activities outside of work that fill my cup up. For me, those are things like there's simple things like going on a walk in the morning, like going on a walk to grab coffee, or I'm a big matcha guy now, so I've been on that matcha recently.
Oh yeah.
Or like after work, I just moved to San Diego, so like my new thing is I just go and jump in the ocean for like 5 minutes, and like that's my reset. So I would say just like little things, and then doing activities that like just fill my cup up. So like basketball, and try to do that and like intentionally make time to do that even on weekdays.
Yeah.
It's really hard sometimes, but like I try my best to do that. And one thing I've been trying to figure out for myself is like, how like a professional sports player, like they have, and let's think LeBron James, they have this regiment that they spend so much money and time preparing for their games. I've been trying to build this regiment for myself to show up as an entrepreneur. Like, how can I prepare mentally? How can I prepare physically to like basically prepare for my game day, which is like my work day? So I've been like trying to optimize my morning routines. I've been trying to like I don't know, just figure out what that is for myself. It's not perfect by any means, but I feel like I'm slowly trying to build that for myself and think about it like if I'm a professional entrepreneur, like how would I prepare for the day.
Do you think that sports ultimately, like growing up in that environment, has helped you as an entrepreneur? And outside of like even how you just gave that example of LeBron James and like what is his regimen as an athlete and how can I relate that and reflect that as my like professional entrepreneurship type of mindset?
Yeah.
Like, do you think that was crucial for you growing up in an environment playing sports as a kid to now being an entrepreneur?
I haven't really, this is the first time I thought about this question, but the first thing that came to my mind was I think the one thing sports helped me with was being a leader, like being the captain of a soccer team. And I think specifically for me, I think I'm a good glue guy. I think that's one of my skill sets is being a glue guy. And I think I've always been the leader that, especially in soccer, was the glue guy. I was always getting along with all my teammates. When two teammates were fighting, I would help them. Like when the coach was like frustrated with a player, like I would talk with them. Like I feel like being a glue guy has been a big part of my role at SEEQ, and I love playing that role, and I think I learned that from sports. And then one other thing I'll add, one thing I feel like I've learned from engineering was problem solving. And I feel like you get these problems in engineering that's like, oh, like what's the like freaking trajectory of this paper going through the air and then it gets hit by a project, I don't even know, whatever.
Yeah.
These crazy questions that like, I think it helped once you work through it, realize that like anything's possible. Like I feel like one thing that I really admire about you too is like we both have this mindset of like anything's possible. And I feel like engineering showed me that like, dude, these problems are like literally insane when you first hear them, but like it's possible if you just work through it and you think through it and you think about doing it differently. So
Totally.
glue guy, problem solving.
Another just like fun story that I really want the audience to hear is about your concept of a Misogi. And like I said, I feel like you're the definition of 1% better. When I think of our core values, that one sticks out the most to me when I think of you. What is a Misogi? And tell us about your experience in your first Misogi that you challenged yourself to last year.
Right. So I didn't come up with the concept of a Misogi. This was from Jesse Itzler. It was the first time I heard about it. But essentially, the concept of a Misogi is a challenge you do once per year that defines your year. And it's supposed to be so hard that it like shows you what's possible for yourself. It pushes your boundary on what you thought was possible. And so you're supposed to set something. Sometimes it's physical. It can be mental too. Usually you start physical. But it's supposed to be so hard that there's a 50% chance you don't think you can finish it. And so I wanted to run my first marathon, and I was like, okay, like what's a marathon time that like there's a 50% chance I'm like I just can't finish it. And I was like 4 hours 30 minutes. That's a pretty solid time for the first time running it. And so that was my Misogi, run a marathon in 4 hours 30 minutes. Yeah, train 6 to 8 months for the marathon, and I get to race day and it's raining. I'm kind of nervous, so I tie my shoes too tight, and I start the race, and there's like these pacers, and they have like the pace. So I was running behind the pacer that was like, if you basically stayed in front of this guy, you're gonna hit your goal of 4 hours 30 minutes. 10 miles in, I look down at my Strava, and I'm just going like way too fast, like to the point where like I think I was running like 8-minute miles, which was like faster than like any. I hadn't even run 1 mile that fast in any of the training I've done. So I was like, oh shit. Like, I don't know what happened still to this day, honestly. But I'm 10 miles in. I look down and like, I don't know if you can like pop up the picture or something, but I had all white shoes on, and my feet were bleeding through my shoes, like on mile like 10 basically. And so literally both feet, and it just bleeding like through my shoe. And so slowly I had to slow down the pace a little bit because it was just starting to get to the point where I was just like I could barely run. And so I got 2 blisters on the insides of my feet on both sides. And
what mile was that?
So it was mile like 10 probably.
Okay, so you're not even halfway through, and this is all happening.
Not even halfway through, and both my feet are bleeding through my shoes at mile 10. And I was like, oh shit. Like, and it was, I went like 2 more miles, and it was to the point where like I had to change my running form to run on the outsides of my feet because it was just hurting too bad. And when I was on mile probably 15, because I was running on the outsides of my feet, my form was just so messed up that my back started like getting messed up. Then my tailbone started getting messed up.
Dude.
And it got to the point by mile, like probably 18, I like couldn't run more than like 10 seconds. And so I made this rule. I was like, if I start walking, I'm going to just walk the whole way, or like maybe not finish. So I was like, I'm just going to run as far as I can and then run 10 seconds, then walk 10 seconds. So I ran 10 seconds, walked 10 seconds for like till the end of the race. So like 8 more miles basically. And when I got to the end, my feet were just completely blood. Like it was just like I had to throw my shoes away. Like I remember I walked to the medical tent and there was a line of like 30 people. I poked my head in and I like showed my feet, and then everyone's like, "Oh, you can go ahead." Like, and then
this guy needs help.
Yeah, I got treatment like immediately. And the one cool thing about the Misogi is I don't think I ever would have finished that race if it wasn't for this mindset of like this being your one time in the year to push yourself. I didn't think one time that I wasn't going to finish. My mindset was like, this is the one time where I'm going to show myself what's possible. And so I finished the race. I think I got 4 hours, 45 minutes. So like I didn't get my time. I can honestly say that was one of the few times in my life when I've left it all on the line. Like I feel like I was so proud of myself because I was like, even though I didn't get the time, like I really tried my absolute hardest. So
I remember when you put it in the Slack group chat, like that day when you were running the marathon. I think I stopped everything I was doing. I feel like I was in the car or something driving, and I literally just stopped. And I'm like, oh my God, like this guy is insane. But it does just show just your mindset and determination. When you set yourself to do something, you do it.
I'm just an all-in kind of guy. So
yes, that's an incredible quality to have. I'm curious, just going into that, like recovery and the health hacking in some fashion. Like you've for sure taken some deep dives into different health tools. When I was just reflecting back as I was doing this research on you, I'm like, oh yeah, he like bought a health coach and like did a bunch of sleep studies, like glucose monitors. Like you were doing so many random things at a certain point of your life. Anything that you want to speak on that like actually like worked for you, and like just what your biggest takeaways were from opting into those things? I
had a feeling you were gonna ask this question, so I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
And my honest, true takeaway was, I feel like for the past 4 years of my life, I've been having like low energy problems. I've told you about this. I was always trying to change the easy things. Eat better, sleep better, work out every day. Andrew Huberman, go outside and see the light for the first 10 minutes of the day, or like stuff like that. I went through this phase where I was like doing that stuff hardcore. Like for my sleep, like I got blue blackout curtains. I got my like sleep mask on. I would wouldn't watch or be on my phone for like an hour before going to bed. And I think I did that for like 3 years, super intense. And the thing that I realized was, yes, I wasn't Andrew Huberman level doing all these crazy things to like optimize 100%, but I was already like eating fairly healthy. I was active. I was working out. I was going to bed at decent times. I was like 85% of the way there. And what I realized after optimizing all those areas of my life is that it did nothing for me. Like I was already like almost there. And like, so I was like, okay, well, like, what is it then? Like, why am I feeling this way? And it goes back to that truth work stuff. I feel like the stress and anxiety in my life was the reason. So to answer your question, I was spending the last 3 years kind of wasting my time on trying to optimize all these little things, when I knew deep down the real issue was like fixing these mental battles, like, I don't know, dealing with imposter syndrome and just like whatever was bringing me anxiety at the time. That's what was draining my energy. And so now I've shifted my focus to like, I'm still eating healthy. I'm still going to the gym. I'm still working out. I'm still doing those things, but I'm giving myself a little bit of grace to not be like, I need to go 100% in all of these. Like focus on dealing with the stress and anxiety in my life, and that should help everything. And I've already felt that helping. And 3 years ago, I knew deep down that was an issue, but I tried all the easy solves for myself. They're not easy, but like for myself at the time, I had already been working out for 8 years of my life, or 10 years, where like it kind of came naturally to me, where I would just work out every day. So that's my biggest takeaway, honestly, is like really focusing on that side and not being too much perfectionist on the other stuff.
Yeah. Well, if you are, I feel like that's the whole, like, it's hard to find balance in your life if you're constantly looking at ways to just like always improve and always go deeper into those things, that it's important to still enjoy life too, where it's not like you're constantly thinking about, oh, am I drinking enough water? Am I going to bed and getting 8 hours every single day? And like, you're almost not having as much compassion for yourself either when you like go super hard into anything in life, you know?
And then one other thing I would say, one of my goals for this year, I'm really big into just obviously creating goals around the things you need and want the most in life. And I realized that stress and anxiety in my life was the reason I wasn't achieving all the things in my life. And so this year I simplified all my goals. So I only had 3. Last year I had like 7. And it was just like, I'm going to simplify it to the things that I know matter the most, even if it's hard. So my main top priority was creating a system in my life to address stress and anxiety. And so like, that's what I've been working towards this year. It's still not a perfect system, but like, and I feel like one reflection I've had is it might take longer than a year to do that. But like, that's a continual thing I'm trying to figure out for myself, to just feel better every day and just like feel more energized, and therefore be able to show up as a better business owner, as a better friend, as a better family member, you know? So.
Yeah, I love that. Have you tried new things then, as far as like ways to combat and like help relieve stress and anxiety, and things that you've experimented with? As I reflected on, like, you got very experimental with your health hacking. Have you learned anything or found new routines or regimens that you've applied to help with those things?
I feel like I've just started to get into creating this system for myself. The first one is just I meet with our therapist, David, like every Friday, and we just talk about these things. I think the first thing is just becoming aware of it. So that's kind of like the phase I'm in, is just becoming aware of the things I need to change in my life. And I've already seen that once you become aware of some of these things, they can solve themselves. There's some that are deeply rooted that like go back to your childhood that like are going to take a bit to resolve. But like, there's some that like, once you just get aware of it, you're like, oh, like I realize that I'm doing that. Like, I'm going to stop doing that, or stop thinking that, or like, I think it's different for everyone. So I'm trying to find the thing that's like for me. But definitely for me, the first step was just like talking to someone. And like, I've never talked to someone about those things. I've never even like talked to myself about those things. I've never even thought about them. It's hard, but like, it forces me to think about those things.
Yeah.
So like Friday, I try to like, in my mind, I'm like, this is like my self-improvement day, at least in the morning. Like I won't work as much. Like I'll grab a coffee, I'll like get settled in and like treat that meeting with my therapist as work. If I feel better, I'm going to show up as a better person for the business and everything in my life. So that's how I've been approaching it.
Totally. No, I love that. And I feel like, again, just going back into my reflection of like you being open to like trying new things and experimenting, like we went to yin yoga together, and then you mentioned how you started doing some like yin yoga on your own with like YouTube videos, or like our friend Timmy just got back from India and you did his crazy morning routine. And I'm sure there was takeaways from that with like journaling and meditating and just like in that reflective mindset, where I see kind of all of those tools as stress relievers or breath work or hot, cold, like contrast therapy, like just those different things that can just help, that are in relation to like stress and anxiety, you know?
Yeah. I like learning what other people do and like what works for them, and then just like taking what I liked from it and like implementing it for myself.
Yeah.
So like what works for you, like there was some aspects of some of the things that you do, or my buddy Timmy does, from like learning all this stuff in India. That was like, that's awesome. Like, I don't need to do that exactly, but like, I'm going to take aspects of that and like bring it into my life.
Totally.
The ones that feel right to me. So
yeah.
I also just like whenever someone's clearly super passionate about something, just like learning from them. I think that's kind of cool. So
is there anything that you wish that more people knew about wellness, like in their 20s specifically? Because I think there's a lot of stigma, especially I feel like now that we're both in California, around wellness and what the right regimen is or routine is. And I'm curious if you were talking to a 20-year-old and they asked you this question of what's some wellness advice that you have for me, what would you share with them?
This is one of our core values at SEEQ, but like move your own way. I really think like that's the advice I would have. Like doing a sound bath or doing a sauna ice bath or whatever, playing sports, like it doesn't work for everyone. Like just do like what feels right to you. Just because your friends are all playing football, like maybe that doesn't feel right to you. Maybe you want to do fencing or whatever that looks like to you that feels good. Like I would just encourage you to do that sooner.
Do what feels good. You don't have to fit into a box of what the crowd is doing or what your friends are doing. And there's just so many different things that you can be doing that are wellness related. There's no one choice that you have to lean into. So I love that advice.
And not even just physically, mentally, like we were talking about before. Like, do you like breath work? Or for me, I like going on a walk in the morning. Like that's like my meditation. For me also, I take like a 21 minute nap most days. The reason I heard about that was because there's these scientists that instead of sleeping like 8 hours per night, they sleep for 21 minutes, work for 3 hours, and sleep 21 minutes. And they just do that on repeat. So they don't like sleep overnight. Apparently they said like the most optimized whatever nap is 21 minutes. So
interesting.
I don't do obviously like I sleep overnight, but like I just heard that and I was like, all right, 21-minute nap.
Love it.
So I've been doing that.
Cool. I'm curious, you mentioned move your own way. How do you move right now? How are you moving? Is it pick up basketball? You mentioned, what do you like to do?
Pick up basketball for sure. That's a big one for me. I also like just shooting around playing basketball is how I like clear my mind. So I like doing that a lot. I'll try to do like lifting weights 3 times a week and then 2 class-based workouts. The class-based workouts for me are like, I do this class called Base Camp, and it's basically like you do like a salt bike for 1 minute and then you do like weights for 1 minute. You switch off. The classes I like doing because it's like a way harder workout and you push yourself way harder than you would by yourself. And then you also just, I feel like, do the most random movements I would never even think to do. Like some of like the freaking like ab workouts they have you do. I'm like, what is I've never moved my body like that in my life. So I like doing.
I need some footage of you doing that.
Oh, you don't need to say that. So I like doing 2 class workouts. I don't know, probably 3 to 4 times lifting. And then the extra days I just like do whatever, like go play pickup basketball, or I definitely go on long walks every day. Pickleball sometimes.
Yeah, you're always moving.
Yeah.
Catch this guy in a meeting, he's always outside catching the sun. If he's not having to be on his computer sharing his screen, he's always moving.
We got to normalize walking during meetings.
Yes.
Like that's got to be a thing.
Yes,
like,
walk and talks. I was talking to Josh about that yesterday.
Big fan.
Yeah, he's a big fan of walk and talks. Everyone needs to be walking and talking more. Anything that you're seeking right now in your life, whether it comes to, movement in business, just in life in general.
What am I seeking? One thing I'm definitely seeking, I feel like, is more mental clarity. I feel like we talked about before, just like everything going on and all the uncomfortable situations you get in as you're growing a company. Like that's just one thing I feel like that's why I go on the morning walks. That's why I do these activities and all that, just to try to have more mental clarity and therefore show up as my best self every day. So that's probably my answer, honestly.
Okay, that leads me to our reoccurring segment. First time doing this, it's going to be fun. It's called Juice Pick. It's basically going to be a quick rapid fire, this or that, and just don't think twice about it.
All right.
First juice pick. Ready?
I am ready.
Ice bath or sauna?
Sauna.
Solo workout or group workout?
Solo.
Strawberry lemonade or mango pineapple?
Strawberry lemonade, it's not even close.
Content creation or flavor creation?
I didn't even hear the last flavor you said, by the way. I just heard strawberry lemonade and I said it. Sorry. Anyways, what?
It's okay. Content creation or flavor creation?
Content creation.
Ooh, we're talking to the head of R&D also, folks. So sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
1 extra hour of sleep or 1 big creative idea?
1 extra hour of sleep. I don't know. I panicked.
Basketball or running?
Basketball.
Yeah, it's not even close. Lastly, what's your juice drop? What do you want to leave people with? Whether that's your personal mantra right now, whether that's advice, a reminder, what you're excited about.
I'm just going to go with the first thing that came to my mind. This is I was thinking about this on the way here. I was listening to a My First Million podcast with Tim Ferriss, and he was talking about doing things that, where's my phone? I need to actually pull up this quote really quick.
Yeah, leave us with a quote.
Okay. This is one thing I've been thinking about with my content series, and it's a quote from Tim Ferriss, and he basically said, like, how do you win even if you lose? And I've been thinking about how to do some of these things within SEEQ. One example is this business bucket list idea. It's basically a series about doing all the things we actually have on our bucket list, like all these important things on our list, like launching Costco, get LeBron James to try our product, all these things that, like, if that happened, like, that's actually what we're trying to do. And so how do you make that where even if you lose, you win? Because even if this series helps us get a 1% better chance of achieving any of our bucket list items, let's say it gives us a 1% better chance of getting into Costco because a Costco buyer saw this content. It's like, that's a win. So, like, I don't know why that stuck with me, but, like, how do you win even if you lose is, like, a mindset and, like, thing I've been trying to implement when you're picking projects to do. So
I love that.
That's what I'll leave you with.
That's a really good quote, and I think it's a great example in what you shared that with, because at the end of the day, you don't know what the outcome is going to be of anything. Where it's like these conversations. This podcast could lead to, one person that's watching it. So I really like that and appreciate you for being here.
Dude.
First episode, Ben Zaver, legend.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And that wraps Juice Break.
Peace.
Peace out.